From Australia, this is the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on WIA.org.au.
Hello there, I'm Graham, VK4 Baker with the national news for week commencing March 28. In the news today, we'll hear from WIA Vice President Lee Moyle. Lee, VK3GK, will take time out of the WPX contest with some very important news on the forthcoming board election. One of those candidates to continue his short but impressive stint on the board is Scott Williams, VK3KJ, who we all saw do such a stellar job on the YouTube presentation of what the ACMA consultation means for us and the WIA. Further on, the A, B or C of that paper, resident thinker Jeff Emery, VK4ZPP, thinks out aloud in this edition. And with even more good news, bad news, VK2ZRH, Roger Harrison.
This is Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH, Editor-in-Chief of Amateur Radio magazine. On Monday last, I resigned my role as editor of the magazine, the one who picks all the articles for each issue, polishes them and directs our graphics artist, Sergio, VK3 Sierra Oscar, what goes where, among 100 other various tasks. However, I did tell the Publications Committee and WIA board members present that I would be willing to continue in my role as Editor-in-Chief. That is, to provide advice, direction, planning and some assistance in getting issues together, and a little corporate memory. I reminded the Publications Committee that I had told them when I was appointed that I believed part of my role was to work myself out of the job, that I wasn't here for the long haul. The fact is, my personal situation has changed dramatically. I resigned from my full-time day job and will very shortly move to the Gold Coast. Yes, VK4, to live with family there, and that I'm unable to continue doing what I have done since issue number 2 for 2020. No, I haven't retired. No, I haven't given up amateur radio, even though I've sold or otherwise divested much of my equipment. Well, now for the good news. Issue number 2 for 2021 will have found its way from the printer to the mailhouse and newsagent distribution systems. As you may recall, the issue is themed around flavours of WSPR, otherwise known as Weak Signal Propagation Reporter. Look for the image of a shushing cherub on the front cover and a big bold cover line about the ACMA's proposals for amateur licensing. This has been Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH, continuing Editor-in-Chief of AR Magazine for VK1WIA News.
Good morning from WIA Vice President Lee Moyle, VK3GK. Recently I made an announcement of the proposed extension to the return date of the WIA Director election ballots. The WIA Board recently convened to make the amendments. John Marshall, the WIA Returning Officer, released this statement earlier this week. The full document and links to the newly updated ballot regulation paper can be found on the WIA website. John states, the WIA Director election ballot papers, candidates' biographies and return envelope are included in this month's AR magazine, now on its way to your mailbox. Those members that do not receive AR magazine by post will have the ballot information mailed to them directly. The concern of the short duration closing date has been alleviated with the extended date to April the 30th, as explained below in the announcement below from John Marshall, the WIA Election Returning Officer. The WIA Board has discussed potential delivery and return mail delays due to several issues, the main concern being COVID-19 associated delays affecting the Australia Post Mail service. Most affected are WIA members in regional Australia and especially those residing in Western Australia who are currently experiencing extreme postal delays. The WA Board, by directive, has addressed this issue and the ballot regulation document has been amended. The initial election closing date of March the 27th is now extended to April the 30th. Section 6, Part G, the ballot is to close on or before 30th of April of the election year, and the ballot must be open for a minimum of 21 days and a maximum of 42 days from the date of the ballot papers are posted. John Marshall, 2021 Returning Officer, WIA Election of Directors. So remember, voting closes Friday, April the 30th. Even with the extension, time is short. Please make your vote count. Read the biographies and the voting instructions. Scratch out 4 candidates, leaving your selection of the remaining 4 candidates who you believe are the best suited to propel your WA forward into 2022. Now back to the WPX contest. 7-3s from Lee, VK3GK.
Hi, this is current WIA Director Scott Williams, VK3KJ, and it's nice to be appearing on the broadcast today on behalf of the WIA board. As most amateur radio operators would be aware, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, ACMA, recently released a document known as the ACMA Consultation 01-2021 Review of Non-Assigned Amateur and Outpost Regulatory Arrangements. The purpose of this consultation was to put 3 options before the public for consideration, and through this process to identify the best licensing mechanism that would reduce regulatory burden and minimise costs for licensees, whilst preserving the current operation utility for licensees. The review is examining whether the existing licensing framework best achieves the objective or whether it could be better met through alternative licensing arrangements. In considering the response of the WIA on behalf of the members, the board engaged the Spectrum Strategy Committee, a committee of subject matter experts, to prepare an exposure draft and make recommendations to the WIA board. In addition to this, various WIA board members, including representation from the Spectrum Strategy Committee, appeared on a streamed live panel session on Ham Radio DX, their YouTube channel, just a few weeks back, to outline the WIA position and how it will be producing both a short and long form response. I'm delighted to say that the WIA Board of Directors met last Thursday evening and have now officially approved these documents for release. What this means is that in the following days, all members will have both the short and long form documents forwarded to you via Memnet. These documents will also be publicly available via the WIA website and on all WIA social media platforms. We encourage all of the amateur radio community to read these documents and, importantly, use the short form document to forward your response to the ACMA. We have set clear instructions where, if you agree with the WIA position, simply just insert your details, sign and date the document, and either upload it to the ACMA or send it in via post. All details are included, but please remember the deadline is the 2nd of April, with no exceptions at all. On behalf of the WIA board, I would like to acknowledge the outstanding work of the Spectrum Strategy Committee. The amount of effort and time that has been put into the exposure draft is extensive, and it has been weeks and weeks of non-stop meetings going well into the night and early hours of the morning. Remember, ACMA's consultation paper has significant implications to the amateur radio community, and it's important your voice is heard. Look out for the email and the release of the documents in the coming days. Best wishes and regards to all. Scott, VK3KJ.
VK1WIA.
Hello, I'm Jeff Emery, VK4ZPP, and I've been thinking. We're racing to the closure of the ACMA consultation paper, and I trust that amateurs around the country have or are taking time to submit their private opinions to the regulator. It is not to overwhelm the ACMA email and postal system, but simply and importantly, it is a demonstration of the importance that the amateur community places on the proper functioning of the amateur radio service. It may seem inevitable that the preferred option C will be the choice that the ACMA makes, but the needs of our cohort to properly engage with our worldwide community must not be jeopardised simply for a process of expedient cost savings at the whim of the government of the day. I'm Jeff Emery, and that's what I think. How about you?
Harking back to Vice President Lee's reminder of the voting for board candidates, the order of names appearing on the ballot paper are Peter Schrader, Peter Denikis, Greg Kelly, Steve Green, Peter Klee, Chris Dimitrovic, Scott Williams, David Ousel. Members are asked to vote for a maximum of 4 nominees by striking out the names of nominees not voted for and returning their vote in the envelope provided to WIA members before April 30. Now, last week on the news I explained how this week's broadcast, 28th of the 4th, would list the bios of the 8 candidates, the bios they'd previously written and voiced for the WIA National News Service. So again, go to the script at wia.org.au. Now, before I look at the regions with VK1WIA, Jason, on the education scene, Radio Surfer Award. The Radio Society of Great Britain has announced its new Radio Surfer Award, aimed at young people but open to everyone regardless of age. The idea is to pick challenges from a list and gain sufficient points to match your age. So obviously, the younger the better. Among the challenges are to get a message from space, make a stealth HF antenna that can't be seen 50 metres away, disprove Ohm's law, and design a simple transceiver. Find out more about the RSGB's Radio Surfer Award at the link we like on wia.org.au. It is the WIA National News, and your 3 Ws: wash your hands, wear your mask, watch your distance.
This is the home service of the Wireless Institute of Australia through VK1WIA. Now, international news with Jason, VK2LAW.
Hello. As always, our international desk sees material coming in from IARU, RSGB, RAC, Southgate Amateur Radio Club, ARRL, NZART, Amateur Radio Newsline, and the worldwide sources of the WIA. We begin with news from IARU Region 1, the Brexit fallout. Modified French amateur radio call sign for Great Britain nationals. ANFR, Agence Nationale des Frequencies, the French telecom regulator, published the following news on their website. After the United Kingdom's request to no longer be a part of the European Union, nationals of Great Britain who come for the first time to France for a temporary stay are now assigned a Fox 4 Whiskey type non-EU SEPT code. To Ofcom, new draft UK amateur radio licence. The draft of the new amateur radio licence, expected to take effect on May 18, is available on the Ofcom site. The new licence contains what many believe to be the unnecessary EMF clause that Ofcom have added, along with an extra 3 pages for Schedule 3, specifying conditions relating to electromagnetic fields or EMF compliance. Ofcom have taken the opportunity to delete the reference to the old full reciprocal licence that was abolished in 2016. To IARU Region 2, Radio Amateurs of Canada, RAC, taking a WIA idea? The National Association for Amateur Radio in Canada is now conducting an online survey to find out how better to serve Canadian amateurs. Note, you do not need to be an RAC member to take the survey. RAC is a volunteer-based organisation and rely on the feedback from members and non-members to help stay informed and up-to-date on amateur radio matters of interest to them, from time to time conducting various surveys to help achieve these objectives. Police report that supremacists are attacking cell phone towers across the USA. According to The Intercept, conspiracy theorists and far-right groups are increasingly targeting cell phone towers and other critical infrastructure to incite fear, disrupt essential services, and cause economic damage with the United States and abroad. In more than one case, they've succeeded in interrupting resources for law enforcement and emergency services personnel, according to the report by the New York Police Department, which lists several recent cases. While another case was tied to the 5G conspiracy theory, which claims without evidence that the electromagnetic waves put out by 5G towers are harming people's immune systems and are responsible for the coronavirus pandemic. The NYPD has not publicly commented on the report. Just remember, when the towers are down, ham radio steps up. ARRL, the FCC and the US Department of Defence are cooperating in an effort to eliminate the possibility of amateur radio interference on 70 centimetres to critical systems at the White Sands Missile Range, WSMR, in New Mexico. The Defence Department's Regional Spectrum Coordinator contacted the FCC early this month, seeking information on whom to contact regarding detected amateur transmissions. The FCC in turn asked ARRL to be involved in the discussion and any necessary remedial efforts. It's to be noted that the amateur radio service is a secondary service on the band. Investigation revealed that the potential problem was not with individual operators or repeaters, but with RF link controls at 420 to 430 MHz, used to establish a linked repeater system within New Mexico. Based on the investigation and with the support of the FCC, the owners of the RF control links within a certain proximity to White Sands are being asked to re-coordinate the link frequency. And wrapping up this week's international news from Region 3, CW Learner Lesson transmissions over the New Zealand National System starts tomorrow, the 29th of March. Lessons will start at 1930 and run through to 2015 and last for approximately 18 weeks, so participants will have a good knowledge of the code, hopefully. These transmissions in ZL are designed for amateurs new to the craft as well as those, like some of us, who've had some experience but wish to brush up again. For WIA National News, in Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2WIA.
Now, operational news with Felix, VK4FUQ.
Hello there. The CQ Worldwide SSB WPX contest this weekend, March 27-28. The CQ Worldwide CW WPX contest May 29-30. April 25 AM CW Anzac Day, Monday 25th from 9 AM on 7125 kHz AM. Harry Angel Sprint will be May the 1st, 10 hours to 11:46 UTC. The VK Shires, June 12-13. Winter VHF UHF Field Days, June 26-27. DX Window. 8J17 Call. The 7-Call 30th Anniversary Special Station is participating this weekend CQ WPX SSB contest. 8J17 Call, 7-Call 30th Anniversary Special Station has a brand new prefix, HJ17, according to WPX regulation. They will promote the 30th anniversary of Japanese 7-call issuance to all over the world, with joining the contest on 3.5, 7, 14, 21 and 28 MHz bands. 7-call is Japanese call sign starting with 7 and is a symbol of the golden age of Japanese amateur radio history. Contact the Last Man Standing special event. Amateur Radio Newsline have issued a reminder. Don't forget to get on the air now until March 30, as the amateur radio community says thanks and goodbye to America's popular Last Man Standing show, which put amateur radio back in prime time with main character Mike Baxter, KA0XTT. The show is ending its 9-year run. Be listening for special event station KA6LMS. Russians in Botswana. A small Russian team are active as A25RU from Botswana until March 28, today. Activities on the HF bands 160 to 10 metres and QO100 satellite, with the priority to most distant stations NA and Asia, using CW, SSB and FT8, FH modes. QSL via R7AL, OQRS, direct by the Bureau. With Easter upon us next week, and with Easter buns and eggs being available in most chain stores since December last, let's roll the DX window wide open and check in on a Christmas station. OF9X, Old Father 9 Christmas. This Finnish station has excited the little radio operators and their families for many years from the land of Christmas. One Santa Claus was pushed to the North Pole, but these Santa transmissions from Finland have finally proved that Finland is the same as the North Pole. OF9X in December. The RWF celebrates its 100 years Wednesday next, March 31. Two calls to look out for are VI100AF and VK100AF. Also see if you can hear and work GB100-4FTS. GB100-4FTS is from Anglesea Island, IOTA EU005, from last Thursday 25th till April 8, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Royal Air Force No. 4 Flying Training School that opened on the 1st of April 1921. Activity will be on the HF bands, SSB in various digital modes. QSL direct to home call MW1 CFN. For VK1WIA National News, I'm Felix, VK4FUQ in England.
This is the home service of the Wireless Institute of Australia through VK1WIA. Now, special interest group news with Bruce, VK3FFF.
Hello. Final frontier. Some hams in Europe were able to receive Falcon 9 launch telemetry at 2,232.5 MHz and then demodulate it. Impressive work and somewhat surprising that the data isn't encrypted. They were able to decode live video streams from the upper stages engineering cameras, including one of free-floating fuel in the LOX tank, which SpaceX live stream editors tend to switch away from. NASA Mega Moon rocket passes key test, readies for launch. The largest rocket element NASA has ever built, the core stage of NASA's Space Launch System SLS rocket, fired its 4 RS-25 engines for 8 minutes and 19 seconds Thursday last at NASA's Stennis Space Center near St. Louis, Mississippi. The successful test, known as a hot fire, is a critical milestone ahead of the agency's Artemis 1 mission, which will send an uncrewed Orion spacecraft on a test flight around the Moon and back to Earth, paving the way for future Artemis missions with astronauts. Worldwide, special interest groups, internet linking of repeaters. After a 14-year hiatus, EchoLink for Windows version 2.1 is now available according to the ICQ podcast. Details and download from the text edition of this news. And don't forget, when you do read the text today on wia.org.au, read the presidential candidates' bios to help you determine who you will vote for in this year's WIA AGM. Worldwide special interest groups, IOTA, OC053 KH9, Wakey Wakey, have we the news for you? Wake Island, Randy, WW6RG, plans to operate as WW6RG KH9 on April 1st. His time is very limited and he wants to focus on 20 or 17 metres single sideband between 0430 Zulu and 07 Zulu. QSL via WW6RG. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, CW. Germany Special Event. In 2021, the Radio Telegraphy High Speed Club, HSC, is celebrating its 70th anniversary. To mark this event, HSC was granted the special DOK number HSC 70 to be used by its club stations DA0 HSC and DK0 HSC throughout the year. Furthermore, the special call sign DP70 HSC was assigned to HSC to be activated exclusively on CW. It will also use the special DOK number HSC 70. Its HSC number is 1951, which is the year when the HSC was founded. UK amateurs quick to click slow CW. A group of hams in the UK believes that slow CW provides the fast track to improving skills in code. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, explains.
Their numbers are not quite 500 strong, but these CW enthusiasts are hoping to attract new members and change all that. They're radio amateurs living primarily in the UK, and when they send CW, they send it slowly. The group is known on Facebook as Slow CW UK, but despite its base of operations in the UK, anyone from anywhere in the world is welcome to join. The hams meet most evenings on or near 3.555 MHz between 1930 and 2030 UTC and can often be heard calling CW slow, sending at about 10 words per minute. Their goal isn't just to have a QSO, but to improve sending and communications skills. Visit the Facebook page Slow CW UK for more details. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Thanks, Jeremy. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Medical. Here's a special event call with a medical theme worth working. Special event station EH3DWN is QRV until April 1st to commemorate World Down Syndrome Day, which was March 21st. Significance of March 21st is that Down syndrome, or Down's syndrome, is a genetic disorder caused by the presence of all or part of a third copy of chromosome 21. So, the one to work, EH3DWN from Spain. Worldwide Special Interest Group, Military. OI3AX. Amateur radio activity in the Finnish Signal Corps, OI prefix, have a brilliant history of cooperation with SRAL, the Amateur Radio League of Finland. Many well-known OHs have caught the bug while doing their service to their country. OI3AX will represent the countrywide network of 35 OI locations all year long as Finland's society racks up 100 years of serving the ham community. Special Interest Groups, VHF and above, the Plumber's Delight. IARU R1 VHF UHF Microwave Newsletter. Downloadable now, this is the first edition to be published by the new IARU Region 1 VHF manager Dick Harms, PA2DW. In it, he notes, "From what I can see now, our hobby is likely going to be under a lot of pressure and various positive and negative influences, not only from outside, but certainly also from within our own circles. Besides the fact that the average age of the group of radio amateurs is only getting higher and higher, we have to face pressure on our spectrum and new developments in the way we make radio contacts, such as WSJT. Amateur radio gets a partial reprieve on 3.5 GHz. The ARRL report that pending future FCC action, USA amateur radio's secondary use of the 3.3 to 3.45 GHz band segment may continue indefinitely. The FCC stated that while we adopt our proposal to bifurcate the band, we adjust our proposal and set 3450 MHz as the frequency at which the band will be split. It agreed with the ARRL's assessment that the guard band is not necessary from a technical standpoint. We also recognise that the nature of amateur equipment realities makes the 50 MHz at 3400 to 3450 MHz particularly valuable to amateur operators because it means existing equipment can continue to operate in the band for the time being. Well done, FCC and ARRL. I'm Bruce, VK3FFF from sunny Bendigo.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions www.wia.org.au.
2021 social scene, and not a lot on the scene, but the four we have are the four big ones. In VK2, we have Mayhem at the Wyong Racecourse, May 30. In VK3, we have Rosebud Radio Fest, put on by Spark, that's November 14. In VK4, we have Redfest, put on by the Redcliffe Radio Club, April 10. And in VK5, the Southeast Radio Group, the SERG Convention, Mount Gambier, June 12 to 13. So now, I'm Graham, VK4BB. Until next we meet, walk softly and keep your eye out for the bunny.
From Australia, This has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.